Hello, adventurers. My name is Maximus, and I am here with Moobs Like Jagger from the GGN crew, and we're
Hello.
here to talk about D&D. On this very special episode, I guess all our episodes are special. That's why I said very special. Every episode is very special, just like every
Yes.
one of you. we're all special in our own
Yeah, we're
way.
all special.
uh,
We
co-
all are dear to our hearts.
yes, thank you. So, a couple things first. If you were unaware, yeah, this Friday. I'm looking at dates so I don't make a mistake. This Friday, April 7th, 6 p.m. We're going to be doing Out of Combat live. We're going to talk about the entirety of Campaign 1. So if you have any questions that you want to ask us, you can throw it in Discord, throw it on Twitter, in YouTube comments, wherever you would like. And then after I finish this stream, I'm going to make a special channel in Discord because I forgot to today. But I'll make a special channel where you can throw questions in there too, so we can see them. But we'll also be live, so if you want to ask things on the fly, then we're available for that as well.
Yep. You can find all that information at castersandcantrips.com or discord.gg/castersandcantrips.
There you go.
Boom.
And they're both in the chat or in the description or wherever you think they should be. They're there, and they're always there. Aside from that, April 21st, and Mac made fun of me, but I want to keep repeating it. April 21st, 6 p.m. Pacific. Specific? 6 p.m. Pacific is going to be the start of Campaign 2 for Casters and Cantrips, featuring our wonderful cast of 5 players now. So that will be a very fun time. I can't wait for you all to see this new campaign. I can't wait for you all to get to know these new characters, as well as me. I'm pretty excited about that. Very excited. A lot of cool things coming up that will be very interesting. Hopefully be very, very entertaining. I feel like I learned a lot from Campaign 1. So Campaign 2 is coming out swinging.
I'm having voice dilemma like I did for Ron.
Oh.
I'm down to 2 voices, and I've been testing it with Lady Moves and how she feels, and I think it's gonna come down to the day of again, but I'm trying to
I
hopefully not do that.
didn't know that you had a voice dilemma for Ron. I thought that's just all it was. That's what he was always meant to be.
I was like, how low can I get with my voice for Ron? And then,
How low can you
or
go?
or should I go? I don't know. Yeah, it was just it just as soon as we went live and you told me to describe what the viewers saw Ron as, I was like, boom, that the voice just happened. It just
Just slid into
emerged
it.
from my body.
Fantastic. It's hilarious. But yeah, those are all the major announcements we have. But today we'll jump right into it. We're talking about the D&D Direct that occurred last Tuesday.
Correct. Yeah.
Very
Last Tuesday on March 28th.
very poor timing on their part. They should have made it Monday so we could talk about it the same day.
Yeah.
Just if you're listening, Wizards, just make sure to make that happen for next time.
Next time, just do a direct on Monday because no one else does Mondays.
Yeah, nobody does. And then we can talk about it right after. It'd be perfect. But some cool stuff in there. Some things that I felt pretty meh about, but I probably wasn't the target audience for it. We can just dive right into them if you would like. I have a list of them.
Well, hello, chatters.
Hello.
People, chatties. I don't know. We should think of a community name, not to go off tangent real quick.
They're
You know, like,
adventurers.
boom, there it is. You
That's
already
why I
had
say
it.
hello, adventurers. Unless you want to make a new name for them.
But like it'd be more thematic, like casters, or not everyone's a caster though.
Well,
So I
we're the
guess it's fair.
casters.
Yeah, but who's cantripping, right?
They're the little canties. Canties?
Look,
Little canties. I don't know.
I think no, Adventures is much neutral and more involved of everybody.
Yeah, if you can come up with a better name, please do, because I was not able to.
Because not everybody is a caster, but everybody is an adventurer.
Mm-hmm.
Boom.
They are chat persons. Yes, chat. No, not, no. I'm not just going to refer to you as chat. because people listen. They don't chat. They just listen. Um,
It's true. I mean, they chat in the box of words.
on podcasts.
Oh, no, yeah, they're just earhole listeners, yeah.
But I think you were gonna say hi to everybody in chat. Our adventurers.
We're gonna say hello to our adventurers, Chiba, Nina, Chinner, who am I missing? Bun Bun is here, Yap, Nate,
Village. Hello.
Loonies. Did I say Loonies? Oh, Loonies will come later.
I came up with one, but y'all didn't like it. I don't remember that, Bun.
We
But
did?
I don't remember this. Yeah, what
What was
was
it?
it?
What was it?
What was it? Because I sure don't remember.
Um, while Bun Bun types that up, yeah, D&D Direct. I feel this is their first Direct, right? Announcement?
I think so because I vaguely remember maybe it was last year or the year before they had a big. I think it was D&D Celebration was
Mm.
one they had because I remember entering the contest to make a comp like the Dungeon Master contest thing that they held, but I don't think it was a D&D Direct.
Yeah, I feel like they're following format of, what other gaming publishers do, that encompasses of like, Nintendo has their own direct, Xbox and
Yeah,
Sony and Ubisoft, like everyone has their own direct now. So I feel like it's just like the new cool thing.
yeah.
Uh, and you don't have to wait for a convention or something. It's more accessible right away for, millions of people.
Hmm.
So it's pretty cool.
Majestic Wolf, hello. D&D Direct is what something that Wizards of the Coast did last week. They released a video discussing some various things in the world of D&D upcoming for this year and next. And we are going to discuss their discussion. We're discussing the discuss.
I don't have link powers, but we're gonna find out. I do. Oh, well, there it is.
No, it's nobody has link powers.
Oh,
It looks
um,
like you posted it, but you didn't.
oh,
But I can fix
well,
that later too. Add that to my list of things that I have to fix.
we'll post the link in the description on the YouTubes if you guys are watching us on the YouTubes. And there you go. Thank you, Max, for posting that. And
Yeah, the channel's locked down where nobody can post links pretty much because
I mean, smart.
yeah, getting permissions and stuff was always a pain in the ass, but to be honest.
They
But
they kicked it off with something pretty cool.
yes. Yes.
I was like,
Um
I need to play Minecraft now.
yeah, they announced a partnership with Minecraft and D&D, which goes both directions. So I think right now on D&D Beyond, you can get your free copy of they have a couple of different monsters
Yeah, the
from
Minecraft
Minecraft.
Monstrous Compendium.
Thank you. The Minecraft Monsters Compendium. Which more monster stats are always good for me.
Yeah.
I probably won't use them as Minecraft creatures, but I will sure as hell reskin that monster for sure.
You don't want voxel creatures in your world?
Doesn't fit in my world, but maybe it'll fit in somebody else's. Maybe they want to run a Minecraft campaign. That'd be fun.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. I believe, yeah, that's available now. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, you can get it right now. I already claimed mine. I gobbled up that free stuff. Is if it's free, it's for me, right?
Heck yes.
And and then the big one was they announced the D&D Minecraft. Like I don't know, is it a what would you call that? An expansion? It's not a totally different game, is it? I didn't
I
I
I
didn't get that sense.
I think it's a DLC, but maybe like a different game mode.
Yeah, maybe it is a game mode. Yeah, game mode, DLC, what have you. There were a couple like they mentioned some cool stuff. Like they mentioned classes, they mentioned leveling up in the trailer.
Mhm.
Um, there were some iconic monsters. Like that dragon. I saw a beholder
There's a
in
mimic,
there.
little
Yeah,
memes.
mimic. Hmm. So yeah, that'll be pretty cool. I'm wondering if like how's it gonna play, right? The only thing I've ever played in Minecraft is survival mode, right? And are they gonna have like quests? Are they gonna have like a storyline involved with it? Is it like
I
just
feel
a
like
sandbox?
they will. I mean, based on the trailers, you have a party together, you go adventuring. There's like magical weapons and different tiers. You can choose between paladin, barbarian, wizard, and rogue.
Oh, I didn't see that they had specific classes already laid out. You said paladin, wizard, barbarian, and rogue.
Hmm.
Interesting. I think we should play it when it comes out.
And we should
we should
absolutely
we
play
should
it. Yeah,
absolutely play it. Yeah.
get the cast together and go adventuring in Minecraft.
Yeah. It's like, hey Mac, what would you like to do in your spare time? Play more Minecraft. Oh, it is Bedrock, isn't it? It is going to be Bedrock. I didn't even think about that.
Hmm. And then after that, they did a D&D Honor Amongst Thieves trailer for the movie.
That was a good trailer.
Yeah,
There were a lot of things that I immediately noticed that were pulled from the game, but I don't want to get too much into it because we're going to be watching it and then we're going to talk about it on April 10th on the next Tome Knowledge.
that's right.
So,
Uh, yeah, we're gonna watch it in 2 days, and then in on yeah April 10th, we're gonna talk about. So if you haven't had the chance to watch the movie yet, you should do it this week
mhm.
because next Monday, April 10th, it's gonna be full spoilers.
Yes, and it'll be me, Moobs, and Bun. Bun's gonna come on Tome Knowledge and talk about it too.
Yeah, but we'll do like spoiler disclaimers stuff in the beginning, and that way people who are either watching or listening can just turn it off if they
Yeah,
haven't
I'll
seen
just
it yet.
flat out tell people if you don't want spoilers to just leave.
Get out!
You haven't played Minecraft at all, Nina, ever.
Really,
How have you avoided this long?
really, it's been around for I feel like over a decade.
Longer than that, because I played the beta when I was in college, and it's been more than a decade since I was in college.
The beta was it 2010? Oh, wow, 2 decades. Holy moly. 2 decades ago,
2010 was the beta.
Minecraft was a thing,
Oh, I must
and
have
it
played it before
took
that
over the
then.
world, and I still think it's taking over the world today. It's going
Yeah,
strong.
yeah. I think we should play that. I don't know how many people can be in that server at once, but we should round up a crew and a party, an adventure. Be a fun thing.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Once it's out, we'll see how many players it can support. Because with 4 classes, if it's more than 4 players, because people could play more.
Yeah.
I don't want it to be all rogues. Like, boom, done.
Mhm. Yeah. But April 10th, Honor Among Thieves will be the spoilery podcast. So if you want to watch it, you got a week to do so. Couple other things. I don't even know if they're. I like they had that little playdnd.com and a little commercial from JoeCat on there.
Hmm.
Um, I don't know. I think it's nice to have like specific resources to get people into D&D. Like they already have pre-made character sheets for people. They have a bunch actually. I think I'm looking at the site now. I took a peek at it earlier, but I thought it was just like 3 or 4. They have like 8 or 9 like pre-made character sheets. So we count these: barbarian, ranger, fighter, bard, warlock, cleric, a wizard, a druid, a rogue, paladin,
Man, that's a lot.
fighter. I mean, they have all of the core classes. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, the song was cool, and then yeah, like it's basically when we and my other group when we get people into D&D who are brand new, we just hand them a character sheet. Well, we
Yeah.
give them options like, oh, do you want to be a fighter, a barbarian, or do you want to be a spellcaster, and
Hmm.
yada yada, and then they pick whatever they like, and then it's already done for them, and we could just jump right in. So
Yeah. That's
just
cool.
another cool resource where people would just get in and play.
Hmm. I
Then
also
you
go
choose
ahead.
a campaign too, which is like a mini module.
Do they give you like a little preview of it before you buy the materials?
Yeah, so they have Lost Mines of Phandelver, which is for
Hmm.
level 1 characters. They also have Frozen Sick, which is, aimed for level 1 characters, and then they have Prisoner 13, which is aimed for 4th level characters, so,
Frozen
like,
Sick was their one of their free modules they released during the pandemic when that came out. They made a little module and give it to everyone for free.
it was, named very appropriately, I guess.
It was on purpose. I'm pretty sure. It was very much on purpose.
Yeah,
Um,
that was super cool. Then there was some
Also,
Hasbro. Oh,
I was just saying before we move on, I
okay.
forgot to mention, go if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube yet, please do that. We're very close to having 1,000 subscribers, which is our next milestone for us to get monetization and fun emotes over there.
87 subs away. And then Bun said she would make a chicken soup sandwich and make Max eat it.
Yeah, I'm glad she volunteered me for that.
Well, like a gelatin one, which I was like, "What?"
Sounds gross. It sounds very gross, but
We'll
yeah,
we'll film it. That's so people could see your reaction of eating this
yeah. I
gelatin
just,
chicken soup sandwich.
I love being volunteered to eat gross shit. Thank you, but appreciate it.
I'll
But
volunteer.
I know you will. That's what separates you and me.
Listen, I've eaten a lot of gross things for charity
Hmm.
and fundraisers and stuff, so
Yes. Yep. We have. But you were about to mention some of the Hasbro stuff.
yeah, there's, some Hasbro D&D collectibles or based off the Honor Amongst Thieves movie. So they have a Beholder, they got an Owlbear, they got Displacer Beast,
Hmm.
stuff that I'm not. It doesn't. That's not like I'm not that demographic, but that's like pretty
Yeah.
cool for people want. I think
They
the
had
really cool thing is uh the 1980s cartoon figures. That's actually pretty cool.
yeah, that was a cool little homage to them. I want a little Diceling, one of the things that are basically D&D Transformers.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's a D20 that you can like fold out, and it like there was like an owlbear, there was a beholder.
Little dragon guy.
Yeah. I want one of them to put on my shelf. I'm not ashamed to say it.
But yeah, they look pretty. At least for the Owlbear, it looks pretty articulated. I'm not sure how articulated the Beholder or the Displacer Beast is.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty cool. Not too shabby.
I had a Magic Gathering thing with the D&D movie, which is not really my thing.
Secret layer,
Um,
yeah.
it's not my thing. What is kind of my thing is exciting is R.A. Salvatore is writing I guess the final of this new series of the Drizzt books. I'm very very behind, but I really do enjoy those books.
I'm gonna be honest with you, Max. I've never read any of R.A. Salvatore's books, and I'm kinda sad that I have never got on that.
It's okay. There's time. There's plenty of time. They're
Lots of
good.
time. I'm actually going through the Lord of the Rings trilogy right now, so maybe after that
Mhm.
I'll start Salvatore's stuff.
Yeah.
I like Dritz.
It's
Cool
really
guy.
interesting is that Drizzt was a side character to be a companion for one of the other characters, and then it just picked up the Drizzt. Everyone loved Drizzt, so he wrote more about him.
Drow, but a good guy? What? He's got this cool panther?
Hmm.
Yeah, I look forward to it.
And then there was the little thing about the new Neverwinter. I don't know if it's an expansion or a thing
I think it's
in
expansion.
collaboration with R.A. Salvatore.
Expansion for Neverwinter MMO.
And I mentioned this before stream, but I'm very confused because in the Neverwinter trailer, they said so this is the name of the place of where Drizzt came from. In the trailer, they pronounced it Menzo Barazin or Branson. I have always pronounced it as Menzo Baranzon, which is what they use in the audiobook.
Hmm.
So now I'm confused about my pronunciation for like the past 10 years of my life.
They had Salvatore right there. They coulda asked him like, "Hey, how do you pronounce this?"
Maybe he
And
changed his mind.
he could. He's
He
the
changed his
creator.
mind.
He can do whatever he wants.
yeah. Watsy
Watsy
corrected
correct.
us. It's the
It's
currently
currently.
correct pronunciation. Whoa.
Oh, and the
So
trailer is the correct one? Berenson?
the
Berenson?
Menzo Baranzan
Beranzin. That's the
is my least
proper
favorite one.
that is the correct
So
way to say it, though.
they made hecking sure that makes no sense because there are currently 10 books in my Audible library where it is Menzo Baranzan all over it.
It could
I
have been were they, English voice actors? Because they could say things differently.
have no idea, but it's neither here nor there. I'll, s-
Fine.
I'll I'll continue saying it incorrectly. Consistency is
I
not
mean, it's like
true.
GIF or GIF, right? Whoever who says GIF is absolutely wrong, so
Yeah,
we'll leave
exactly.
it at that.
It's a gift for
Yeah.
gift.
That's right.
um,
Um,
do you
wow.
do you want to dive into the VTT now, or do you want to wait until the end? Because I know that's where we're diving in the most. That's where the
Uh,
most I have to say
I
about it.
think we'll discuss it last because we'll talk about the other stuff in the direct,
Yeah,
and then just, like, jump jump right into the VTT stuff.
yeah, that's where I have the most opinions. I guess next there was the D&D documentary with Joe
Uh,
Manganiello.
yeah. Was the WizKids right before that? The
Just like a
life-size mimic toy or statue?
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I that was just like a commercial to me. It was like a commercial break. I didn't pick up
It
because
it
I
it didn't
saw
connect?
there's no. I was just like, okay.
Yeah, they're like, "Mimic escapes and it's life size," and I was like, "What is happening? Is this a bit or?" But yeah, it was like
Yeah,
the life size mimic statue I think you can buy from WizKids and a baby owlbear.
yeah. Those did not track in my brain.
I kinda blanked out when that went on. I was like, "What is happening?"
It just means I'm not the target demographic,
It's true.
probably. But
I
then
mean, the
after
mimic look
that, oh, go
yeah.
ahead.
I thought the mimic looks pretty cool. It looks legit. And the baby owlbear, it's not as cute as I'd like to be as a baby owlbear, but it's
Mhm.
cool, I guess. Yeah, and then the D&D documentary with Joe.
Yeah, Joe Manganiello is directing it and producing it with some other people.
I
Um,
think yeah,
50th
perfect.
anniversary of D&D is when it's going to release. So next year. What were you saying?
Yeah, you couldn't find a better person to host it or whatever. Yeah, direct? Is he
Yeah,
directing? Yeah.
he's very passionate about it. I'm curious. I'm very curious who they're going to get to talk about it. Because in some of the footage, like I noticed like Vince Vaughn is in it because Vince Vaughn plays at his table um for the campaign that he runs. Because I know that he plays with like Vince Vaughn, Tom Morello,
Seth
the
Green.
what's that?
Seth Green.
Yep. Um um the giant WWE plays at his table.
Andre the Giant?
Not
Not
Andre the
Andre the
Giant. No,
Giant, sorry,
just
the Big Show, the Big
yeah, the
Show.
big show. Thank you. Um a couple other people. I'm blanking. Oh, the showrunners from Game of Thrones played his table too.
Interesting.
Those two guys. Yeah, Paul White. Thank you, Chiba. I could not
But
think of the name Big Show in my brain.
no Vin Diesel. Joe called him out. Vin Diesel does not play at his table.
Yeah, I don't know. His table's probably full. I watched an episode on some YouTube channel where someone had made a custom table for him, and they had to like crane it into his house. It was insane. I don't remember the YouTube channel, but it was like one of those full like wood tables with like resin pour in the middle of it and all that.
Oh my goodness. How'd
Um,
they get that in his basement?
it was on the second floor. They had to crane it over the balcony. But yeah, I saw Vince Vaughn was in there. I saw Scott Ian from Anthrax was being interviewed about it. So I'm wondering if he plays with them or something along those lines. I don't know. I'm just curious. I don't know. I don't know what to expect from it.
Oh, is this really a D&D documentary, or is this a documentary about him playing D&D with Hollywood celebs?
I, I don't know. I mean, my expectations are none. So
Like,
I'll
Stephen
100%
Colbert
watch
has to
it.
be part of it for sure.
What's that?
Stephen Colbert has to be a part of it for sure.
Yeah, I would say so. I would say so. But yeah, I'll watch it. I don't have any expectations other than cool D&D documentary. I'm sure it'll cover the major beats. It'll cover the early days, the Satanic Panic, other stuff.
Yep. I mean, I'm gonna watch it. I'm curious.
Hmm. Yep.
And see, after that is um they what's the come for the rest of 2023 for Dungeons and Dragons.
Hmm. A lot of books specifically mentioned. Um,
Yeah, Chris Perkins and Jeremy Crawford, they talked about like the keys from the Golden Vaults, 13 Adventures. I think it's like a tie-in with the D&D movie.
yeah, and one thing that I saw there is they talked about 13 adventures and they mentioned heists. In my
Yes.
brain goes because I don't typically run modules, right? Because I did my own thing in my own world. But looking at 13 different like heists or adventures would be like some prime like material to look through for sure.
Yeah,
So
easy one shots too. If you want to plan some one shots.
yeah.
A lot of 13 Adventures, that's a lot of content.
Yeah. So it'll probably be like short little things that you can just drop into your campaign, I would assume.
Yeah. I didn't see they didn't talk about a release date for that.
Mm-mm.
So I'm assuming later this year.
Yeah.
And then they then went on to talk about Bigby's presents Glory of the Giants, which is slated to release Q3 of this year. A lot of
I
lot of cool giant lore, I guess.
yeah, I giant lore is always I can always use more giant lore 100% cuz pretty much the most of what we got from 5th edition was like Storm King's Thunder.
Mhm.
Um because I had to flip through that for my own lore to figure out what, even though it's not setting specific, but yeah, I want more lore about things, more books about things. So, because I mean, a couple of things like in our campaign, I had to reach back to like 3.5, 4th edition stuff and just look up things that aren't covered in 5th edition. Always like more giant lore.
Yeah, well, there you go. We've got a book full of giants.
Hmm.
What else? And up after that, they just talked about Fandelvers and Below, the Shattered Obelisk, which is also slated for Q3 this year. I don't really don't know too much about it because they were in the direct. They were talking about like you may seen these obelisks around the world, and I'm like, oh, I never play in your world though. I play in other people's worlds. So
Yeah, yeah. It's cool that it's interesting they're going back to Phandelver again. Because the Lost Mines were we mentioned earlier are level one
mhm.
adventure. So
Yeah,
that's
and
cool.
that's cool. That's it's good stuff to get inspiration from.
I know the next one you're excited about, Planescape
Yes,
Adventures in the Multiverse.
I am very, very, very excited for Planescape because it's me and my friend's favorite setting. Um, we theme it magical adventures. It just means we're just gonna go around and travel the planes and just get into crazy shenanigans.
Hmm.
Yeah, Siggle's cool super city. It's incredibly diverse. Anything you could be anyone, be anything you want because it's the planes. Like yeah, it's just like the ultimate custom PC dream.
I'm I'm interested in it, but I'm skeptical about this one because Planescape is like one of the big settings, one of the
Yes.
iconic settings in D&D. And I feel like Spelljammer is also in that list. And I know that a
Hmm.
lot of people are felt that the recent Spelljammer release was pretty lackluster, pretty like bare bones and empty feeling, not enough in there. So I'm worried a little about how they're gonna like what the Planescape book is gonna be. It's also interesting because correct me if I'm wrong, you're probably more knowledgeable in this than I am, but doesn't alignment play a huge part in Planescape?
Yes. 100%. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm wondering how that's going to fit in current 5th edition where we talked about this in a previous episode is alignment really doesn't matter
Yeah,
in 5th
that's
edition.
that's true. And moving forward, they're gonna eliminate, not really eliminate ladder, but alignment. But alignment is not gonna define like a race or creature. So
I like that change. personally.
Oh,
But
that's a good change. I like it
yeah,
too. But for Planescape in particular, yeah, alignment is huge because each plane is the the existence of that alignment, right?
yeah.
So if they're gonna downplay alignment in the next edition of D&D, whatever that is, one D&D, or if sixth edition, whatever they're gonna call it moving forward, yeah, I'm actually yeah, I curious to see what they're gonna do in the books.
hmm And we'll see. It's what they say Q4 of this year, so towards the end of the year.
Yeah, correct. Q4, so probably the winter of this year.
hmm Majestic Wolf asking, "What's your favorite plane?"
Oh, Mechanist. It's just so cool.
hmm
Got all the gears and the clockworks and then just how like how just so it's law is everything in
hmm
Mechanist, right? And they have just crazy laws on everything like time travel or just like you can't it's just Mechanist is just really cool.
I don't know. I don't know if I have one, to be honest. Yeah, I don't think if you made me choose, um, if you made me choose, I would probably say either the Abyss or the Nine Hells, one of those
I know.
two, because there's
Those
a lot you can do, DM wise, and it's very lore rich for me to pull things from.
yeah. Like, especially with the 9 hells, because there's a lord for each
Mm,
layer, and they're
yeah.
all super different. Oh, and the Blood Wars? Oh, god, Blood Wars is so cool.
hmm Eberron, yeah, Eberron's awesome. Eberron, is that more of a setting or is that a plane? I don't know. I don't know where the line is drawn of like Greyhawk, Faerun, Eberron. Are those planes or are those just
I always
settings?
thought it was a setting, because when they did that contest way back when, that
hmm
the creator of Eberron won the contest, and then it became an official D&D setting.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how that works, but I definitely know what you mean though. So just more of a more meta discussion about what is a setting, what is a plane.
It's on the material plane, which is one of a
Ah,
myriad of planes of existence. Oh, okay. Alright.
I see. So the material plane, the prime plane, where like all of those settings exist, and then of course, okay, I see what you mean. And then all of the other planes are outside of that. Interesting.
And then up next, they, announced the Deck of Many Things for Q4.
How are they making a whole book about that?
I I questioned that too. I thought it was like, maybe it'll just be a PDF, right? Instead of, like, a full book,
hmm
right? Or maybe, like, how like those spell cards now, the physical spell cards, and, like so maybe it'll be like a physical deck that you can use for your campaigns.
It looked like it was like an adventure to
Hmm.
me, and it talked about it's like the origin of it and some of that stuff, if I remember correctly from the video.
Oh, interesting.
I mean, you can rest assured that one thing that I will not include in my campaigns are a deck of many things in its pure form. I'll tell you that 100%. You want to
It
fuck
is
up your
the
campaign, you drop one of those in there.
Yes, it is the ultimate campaign ender. Happens every time. Like, someone loses their soul to death, but then you get a keep, and then maybe a cohort. Just a lot of crazy stuff.
Or you fight death. That's Avatar, I think.
Just yeah. Or hey, you gained a level or get a billion riches. A lot of bad. The bad stuff is like really bad.
Yeah, I feel like you're more likely for something bad to happen to you or neutral than you are something good.
But if you're just having shits and giggles campaign and
Yeah.
doesn't really matter what happens, and yeah, throw it in. If you wanna spice things up, throw in the deck of many things.
Yeah, for sure. Go for it. Embrace the chaos. Yeah, I guess it'll be interesting to see like what the origin story of it is, but I'm gonna go on a limb here and say a wizard did it. Like
Is
much
it
like any other things.
Is it Bigsby? A son of a bitch. No.
Pick one. Any wizard.
Mornkins? That sounds like it's Pizzali.
And then there's a new Vecna book, Vecna's Reign of Terror.
Yeah, they didn't really go into it other than the big bad Vecna, and that's slated for 2024.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm wondering why they just chose Vecna other than like Vecna's crazy popularity with like because of Critical Role or in Stranger Things, but seems like that kind of excitement for Vecna is already passed.
Um,
Other than Vecna
maybe.
just being a badass deity.
Well, there's still another season of Stranger Things.
Oh, all
That
right.
so yeah, that's coming out. Is it next year or this year? Uh, I, I don't remember. I'm guessing at this point. I'm guessing it's either this year or next year. So there's still that, and even though that campaign one and Critical Role is over, they still have the Vox Machina show
Oh, I did
running.
forget about that. You're right.
But in the Vox Machina show, they can't refer to him as Vecna.
Hmm.
So when they play D&D and stream it and make videos, they're under the content policy or the fan policy for Wizards of the Coast. Same thing we do when we stream and can use monsters and people and stuff from the game. Their TV show isn't tied to that at all. So you won't hear any D&D specific stuff in the show. So I'm wondering what they're going to do there. Make a Vecna-esque type person or just avoid it.
Well, what's Vecna backwards? On Kev? Boom. There it is.
Yeah.
You're welcome, Critical.
All
You could
on
take that
Kev.
one.
There's no, it's just not Vecna. It's not Vecna.
But yeah, I'm curious how these books are gonna handle moving forward, especially with the, you know, upcoming new edition of D&D. So they still got to release content, right? Even though they're working on one D&D.
They're in a weird spot, and what I noticed is that they said that that Vecna book is coming out in 2024. That's when one D&D is slated to release,
Yeah.
if I remember correctly, because I'm sure they want to release it in 2024 for their 50th anniversary. Um, I just, I don't know when that's going to happen because I feel like at some point I mean they have to keep the releases going now, right? They just can't stop releasing content.
Yeah, correct. I mean, these
But
were in the works for a long time.
yeah, I don't know if that Vecna book is gonna be, will it be like the last fifth edition book or will it be like the first sixth edition, which I doubt it because that would be really early after the wide release.
Mhm. Yeah, we'll have to see.
Hmm. So
You
yeah,
ready to wrap around to the main event?
let's do it. I got opinions.
The the Dungeons and Dragons virtual tabletop. They did
Hmm.
a they did a pre-alpha gameplay footage, a reveal
Yeah.
during the direct, and yeah, well, a lot of stuff to unpack here.
And the first thing, which I think is funny, I don't fault them for it. I understand why they did it. Like I understand for production and things like that. But they got a group of people and a DM to sit at the same
Yes,
table
yes,
and then all pulled out tablets and then played on the TV in the virtual tabletop.
yeah. They all had laptops for the virtual tabletop, but there was character sheets, there was physical dice, there was books, and a playmat, which no one touched because they all had a laptop.
That was interesting.
That was pretty funny. Like, I think I saw a lot of the comments in chat, or the comments were, they're like, "That's a waste of perfectly good dice." They didn't even use them.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Things that I liked just in general about the D&D VTT that, and I have some categories too. Can we tell you my categories I have?
Yeah, go for it.
I have the general, I have maps specifically, characters, and NPCs. Those are in the marketplace. Those are all my different categories.
Mhm.
That's just how I organize my brain. But I like that you can very easily import your character from D&D Beyond, which
Yeah,
that 100% makes sense because you're in their ecosystem.
correct.
I would feel like that would be a failure if they did not do that from the get go.
So I'm curious, but yeah, if you're using this virtual tabletop, which looks great,
Yeah,
the
looks great. Unreal
fidelity,
5 engine is
yeah,
fantastic.
Unreal 5, the miniatures they had that they showed off look fantastic. It almost feels like a video game, but
Hmm.
not.
Yeah. One thing that I was wondering is you can import your character from D&D Beyond. If I buy stuff on D&D Beyond, like if I buy specific like adventures or books, a monster manual,
Mhm.
or those things, does that mean that I get content in the virtual tabletop because I bought their books, or is it going to be separate? That's one of the questions that I have.
That's a great question. They didn't go into the details of any of that. They're just
Sure did
mainly
not.
showing off like what the virtual tabletop had to offer and what you can do with it in its current state. But yeah,
Hmm.
I feel like maybe it's included in your D&D Beyond subscription and you get access to XYZ because you are subscribed. Or is there like a marketplace store where you have to buy little things or microtransactions?
Hmm.
Um, that is like not like dice skins or whatever. But
I will say at first glance, it looked like an officially licensed and further along Tailspire because they had more money to throw at it. If you're familiar, if anyone's familiar with Tailspire, it's something that does basically this, but system agnostic, and it's still in early access because I think there's 5 or 6 people working on it.
hmm,
That's kind of the first thing that I noticed. I want to talk about maps. You know about maps?
let's talk about maps.
I'm in a unique position where for casters and cantrips, I subscribe to a lot of different Patreons to get the maps and to be able to use them
Hmm.
for stream. So what I'm wondering is how is this going to affect the third party map makers? Are are they, I mean, I'm sure people are still going to continue doing the maps they're doing now, over the top 2D animated maps. But what's also interesting is I know a lot of those map makers, they use Unreal or they use Unity to make their scenes and then just throw it over the top and
Hmm.
then record. That's how they do it. I've seen videos of them making it. So I'm curious, will they be able to use those same scenes and then throw some of them into the virtual tabletop? Because I know in the video they said that they want to make they said they want all of their environments to be made of building blocks that everyone can make their own content from,
Yeah.
which is something that caught my eye. So it's like, do you have to use their building blocks? Like how easy will it be to make your own or import your own? Um, will there be like an interface for this, like a map making mode or whatever? And do you have to pay for different building blocks that you want to use? I don't know. These are all concerns that I have specifically.
Well, they in the video they mentioned that D&D is has a huge modding community, right? So
Hmm.
maybe they have a modding tool set for map creators and they can import their scenes from Unreal and import it into the virtual tabletop. That's a possibility.
Maybe. Hmm.
Which which I think would be difficult because you would have to use specific set pieces, right? Because
Yeah, their assets specifically.
um so yeah, maybe they do have a modding editor that creators can use to make their maps, but they had to do it
There
within the virtual tabletop.
there is a company that does something like that though. And I can't remember them. This is gonna bug me unless I find it, but it's similar to like Minecraft or Roblox or um that kind of stuff. Let me look here. That's what's the company called? Manticore? They have basically skinned over Unreal and let people make their own maps with specific assets that they have.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, Manticore Games. And they develop Core, so their product's called Core. It's like people can make their own little mini games, almost Roblox style.
Oh,
Thank you,
okay.
Zeus. So they basically, if you look at like their building blocks, it's like here's Unreal skinned over with our stuff and made it easy so you can drag and drop stuff in there. So I wonder if that's, I don't know, but yeah,
Yeah,
you're right.
maybe.
It'll have to be their assets.
I think maybe another thing they could possibly do is reach out to these creators and partner with them. And they're like, hey, we'll partner with you if you use our tool set and make maps for us. And then maybe people have to purchase them on the marketplace, right? Or
Yeah,
whatever the marketplace means. Like, is this something that people can upload user generated content and people can download for free, or is there like a premium?
yeah, because I know there's a lot of tabletops like Tailspire or like Dungeon Alchemist has a they have a Steam workshop where people can make their own stuff and you just say I want that and you download it and it's in your game. So I'm curious on that, but that'll probably fall under marketplace. We can talk about that a little later, I think. We can talk about it now. We can jump to straight to that. We can jump straight to that bullet point if you want.
Yeah, unless you have anything else to say about maps and third party Patreon people or any people who just make content outside of the you know Wizard of the Coast universe, but
Yeah,
for the D&D community.
I just hope that the ability to make your own maps is simplified for the masses. Like for me, if I want to make something and whip something up real quick, I want to be able to do that. But I want people that are more experts to have the tools they need to go beyond that.
Yeah, from the video, it looks pretty robust. Like, boom, you just draw out a wall line of walls, and you got walls, and then you have
Hmm.
view levels like hide the roof, view the roof, so you can see within the interior, or if you
Yeah.
want to have a rooftop battle. But yeah, I am very curious to see how involved is map making. Like,
Hmm.
is it going to take you like 2 hours to create a map, or can you just like? And it sounds like in the video, he's like, "Oh, here's a prefabricated in. Here's a prefab of X. Here's a prefab," and then you can just load it up and just throw your PCs in and then just go for it. So it sounds like
Hmm.
that's something they're working on as well.
Yeah, because I don't have time to create the campaign and create maps. That's why I
Yeah.
use Patreon to get third party maps because I don't have time for all that shit.
Yeah, but they have prefabricated maps or levels or building set pieces, and yeah, I think that's probably the goal.
Yeah, I
Is
think
just to
so.
get people in, get people playing without all the heavy lifting.
Yeah, and what's interesting to me and going a little off topic of maps is that a lot of those features like I don't care about. Like I don't care to use virtual dice. I like I doesn't I don't I prefer real dice to be honest. But it feels like a lot of the functionality is gonna have to be like you roll these virtual dice and it does things. Um,
I'm hoping it's optional because yeah, we everyone in the D&D community are people who just love dice. So we
yeah,
spent an astronomical amount of money on dice. We better damn well use them.
yeah, yeah. But I don't know. I don't know how you can reconcile those really cool things that are built in versus but not using their built-in virtual dice. I don't trust virtual dice. I won't use them.
Yeah, because in the footage, it seemed everything was, in the ecosystem. Like you move the mini to attack, and then there's like a tilt animation. It's indicating you attacked the whatever the creature was. I forget that. And then like when you attacked, it dice
It
rolled as
rolled
soon
your
as hit the other mini.
yeah.
So
You roll it rolls the attack and then it rolls the damage. Like I don't want all of that to be streamlined because I think that's where you teeter over too much to this is a video game
yeah, I feel
territory.
like it's a lot of clicking, and then the VTT does the rest. Like I attack, you click your attack button, and then it does a little animation, and dice automatically roll if you hit.
Hmm. Yeah, I don't know if I like that.
There were cool stuff like
Yeah.
the ant keg burrowing from the ground and coming up and
Oh
all this
yeah.
rock stuff. Like the
Hmm. That
VFX
was
is really
awesome.
cool. when they talked about the inn was on fire and he placed little fire tokens and it just plopped right down. Like, it
Mhm.
was, like, easy peasy. So, like, a lot of that stuff was super cool.
Yeah, and it looked great.
Yeah, it
Um,
looks fantastic.
I'm talking about the characters, the minis and stuff.
Yeah, please.
Um, they looked they looked really great, and I know, they better because it was their showcase of the of the VCZ. But what I'm wondering is, like how does customization work? Like, do you have a set number of customization options? Do you have to buy more? Are there gonna be microtransactions involved in it? Like, oh, that beard's really cool. I have to buy it with D&D bucks to get it, right?
D&D butts.
I mean, yeah, with wizard bucks or something. um, and yeah, I don't know. Like, it'd be awesome if they let you like import from Hero Forge,
I
right?
hope it's Electrum. They call it Electrum. That'd be beautiful. Yeah, because the minis in the footage do not look anything that came from Hero Forge.
No, and I mentioned Tailspire before. You can import your Hero Forge menus from Tailspire too, but you got to buy the digital version of it.
Yeah, like, these were, like, higher poly minis, and they weren't
Yeah,
as I don't know, what's the Hero Forge style? Not blocky, but, um,
yeah, I get what you're
yeah, a lot of
saying.
their yeah, Hero Forge stuff kinda looks really chunky, you know?
Yeah,
Where these are more very stylized, in lieu of the, D&D setting. But they look great, yeah, they had, like, this cool wizard and the cape was flying in the air, there's this badass orc with a sword and spike shield. Their
hmm
rogue looks super awesome, the dwarf looked badass with, like, long hair. Yeah, I wonder if there's a robust character generator where you can create and customize your mini, but yeah, what does
or
that mean? Like, how
NPCs
many
for that matter.
Oh, yeah, yeah, true, NPCs? And is there, like, a painting mode? Like, you can essentially paint your mini digitally.
Hmm. Yeah,
Um,
it's and if I buy, the monster manual, like, do I get a mini of that monster? What monsters do? Because I think of it from the DM lens, because that's what I primarily do on the stream.
mhm,
It's like,
yeah,
okay, I need a shit ton of monsters for my campaign. Like, what's available to me? Like, what do I have to have this number of monsters? Because I can say I won't be happy if I personally get nickled and dimed. If I want goblins, I gotta buy a goblin pack. If I want, werewolves, I gotta buy a werewolf pack. If I want commoners, like, I, I'm not about that. That'll very quickly shut me down from purchasing it, because DMs already buy a shit ton of stuff too. I mean,
yes.
they're the whales essentially for D&D, or for D&D in general. But
Yeah, that's a great question, Majestic. Will everything be free on the virtual tabletop? We won't know until release more information on the virtual
yeah,
tabletop and how what is the marketplace? How is the marketplace gonna work? And
yeah.
then with the user generated content that people can upload to the marketplace, does that mean people can download it for free, or do creators, like, charge a fee
hmm
and then WotC gets a kickback? We don't know until they release more information.
Yeah, I mean, in my skeptical heart, Wolf, I say no. Do you think everything will be free on the virtual tabletop? Absolutely not. Hi, bud. Wave to the stream.
But
um,
yeah, I think to me it makes sense if you own the books, then you should have at least a token, at least a 2D token, with just an image instead of a full-fledged, like, 3 modeled thing. But
yeah, but like, I get it, but I feel like that would be, like, a weird compromise where you have this beautiful 3D rendered world that you can pan around and see, and then you have like a flat token. That's not gonna feel good either. I
yeah,
don't
I
know.
know they're doing a family and friends, alpha test right now, so I'm curious when they're gonna have, like, a beta thing. Um,
hmm And can I have it, please?
yes.
Can
Anyone
I
at
please have it?
WotC, please let us access to the alpha or beta. We'll sign NDAs. We wanna play around with it.
hmm Um, yeah, and just I'm wondering too, as of when talking about NPCs and monsters and stuff, like how easy will it be to homebrew like a monster in I guess both directions. Let's say I pull an orc from the stable of minis and monsters I can have. How easy is it for me to adjust the orc on like the stats side? Like give them certain
Mm,
abilities,
mhm.
change things up about their character sheet, and vice versa. How easy is it for me to take that miniature and then change it? Maybe I want him to have a yellow shirt because he's a special orc. Maybe I want him to have a scar or like a different haircut or a different weapon. Like how easy is that going to be?
Yeah. Because when I did the Ron shot, I like
Hmm.
saying Ron shot. It's funny.
The rust, yeah, the
Uh,
Ron shot.
like most of the creatures we put in that you helped me with, I homebrewed a lot of it, like the
Hmm.
animated instruments and giving them like a cone sonic damage ability.
Hmm.
Did I say that right? Was it sonic or should I said thundering damage? It's probably thundering
You
damage.
said Sonic, but I mean I didn't.
Everyone knew. Everyone knew.
Yeah, I was gonna say I assumed it was force damage, but
Um, and yeah, the Bagman was like doesn't exist, so we just used a template from one creature and then I added stuff. And
yeah,
and Forge was super easy to edit that. You can edit stats, you can add abilities, remove abilities. It was like super simple, really easy to do. So hopefully the D&D Beyond Virtual Tabletop is because I mean they did like bring up a lot how about like how homebrew content is important to Dungeons and Dragons. So
yeah.
hopefully they really lead into like the homebrew customizability for NPCs, creatures, whatever.
Did you actually use Forge for the monsters in the one shot for all their stats and abilities and stuff?
Yeah, you double click it and a little character sheet pops up with all their stats and
Yeah,
abilities.
I don't use it. I just use it
'Cause I
for
don't
HP.
'Cause I don't own any of the books. I don't have books like all these
Yeah.
monster books in front of me, so that
Uh
was super helpful for me. And then
yeah.
yeah, editing their hit points was super simple. So
Mhm. I always use the encounter builder on D&D Beyond because I think that the importer for Forge on that is technically like a gray area
hmm.
being able to import those for the people that do that, but
Yeah, Majestic,
I
if
do
you
it for the
have
art.
topics you want us to talk about for future vodcasts, yeah, let us know.
Mhm.
I here's one thing I'm interested because it's D&D Beyond and you can like just in the character sheet you could easily add magic items, equipment, change gear. I'm
Mhm.
curious if your token, your 3D model mini will update. Like I am no longer wearing chainmail. I'm now wearing full plate. Will my character update or is that something I have to do manually? If I switch from uh if I'm going to do range combat and then engage in melee and switch to a longsword, will the mini update to uh emulate not emulate, but like show what you're
Yeah.
doing in
Here's a
so.
question I have for you on top of that is do you want it to do that and why?
Oh yeah, I do, 'cause it's super cool. Like I think for especially in a like online world, right, where we all can't play together around a table.
Mhm.
Um, I think if they're gonna go like this hard on the fidelity and the using Unreal 5 and like the animation and 3D models of being that high fidelity, like yeah, I wanted to do that. It'd be cool.
Mhm. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it'd be cool to have different like settings for like presets for your model and like poses and stuff like that, but
Yeah, like extension. Basically, yeah, different poses, emotes, right? Like we're all sitting around a table. Do the minis sit on a chair or are they just standing next to the table? You know?
if you look at the animations, it was a mini and it was just the mini, and when they attack, they just tip the mini over to
Yeah,
it. What you're saying I think is cool, but I don't know if I would want it because I feel like it dips into more video game
I
territory
can
to
s-
me.
I can see that. Yeah.
Yeah, when you start articulating your characters and it's not a mini anymore and it's a virtual like character that you can move around and articulate and change stuff, then it I don't know. It's too close to the sun for me.
I feel like this is a way for people who are more gamer like instead of tabletop players to get them in because like, oh, this feels like a video game. I can totally play this Dungeons and Dragons things now, you know. So
Mhm.
I wonder if it'll open up a new demographic for for Dungeons& and Dragons where they're gonna get that gamer audience who are, like, afraid of tabletops, don't wanna roll dice and paper and use their imagination, but then they have, like, this
Mhm.
visual representation of Dungeons& and Dragons, and they're like, "Oh, man, yeah, I'm in. I am in now." So
Yeah, and from my lens, I see it the same way that we use Forge for the maps that I find is a visual aid for combat is what I see it as. Because could you imagine like every time you go to an inn or if you go to a city having to set up a scene with all the NPCs and everyone in it and like because I saw the scene where they were talking to the bartender and the
yeah.
bartender was like at the bar and like the little menu was moving. I was like, that sounds all well and good, but how much fucking time would that take as DM? Every single not just encounter, but like social encounters, adventuring, like there's no way you can make a scene for everything because at that point you are making a video game.
Yeah, becoming a level designer at that point, or a narrative designer.
Yeah.
Sometimes those are the both are the same thing.
Yeah. I don't want to say that I'm optimistic. I am hopefully what's the word I'm looking for? I'm hopeful, hopefully optimistic,
Mhm.
cautiously optimistic. I'll use that one. I think it'd be cool. I'd want to play around in it before I decided that we would move to it or something like that.
I feel like they're gonna do a beta, if not at least a closed beta where we can sign up for and test it out.
Mhm.
I'm sure they're gonna reach out to a ton of content creators to test this out and even live stream it or whatever they're gonna do, make YouTube videos or whatever.
Mhm.
Because they do the same thing with the one D&D stuff where they have the Unearthed Arcana, so I don't see why they wouldn't.
Yeah.
At least
Yeah,
I
I don't
hope they
know.
do, especially when you want to get as much feedback as possible. Like I feel like they'll have a beta.
Yeah. Eh, I mean, I hope that it goes smoothly. I hope it works well. I
Yeah.
just I'm just worried mainly about all the other virtual tabletops too, because I know with the big OGL stuff, they were trying
Mm,
it was conveniently the other VTTs were conveniently left out of the new proposed OGL, which would mean that there were only official ones, which would be Roll 20, Fantasy Grounds, and then this new one because they have explicit deals with them. So
yeah.
I'm
Like
curious what that's gonna do.
like the three rings
In
of power.
and I feel like in you know an ideal world that maybe Wizards would say, hey, we're gonna beat everybody on merit because our VTT is gonna be the best that there is around. I hope that's the direction that they take because I yeah I don't want every other VTT just to get shut down for licensing
Oh yeah,
issues.
that would be terrible, and I hope it doesn't come to that. Because not everyone wants a fully articulated 3D environment where they can change every little tiny pixel, right? So
Yeah, yep,
I think with us using Forge and it's just basically a top-down map and little tokens, it kind of leads more to the imagination
yeah,
and exploration. Like when you're in an environment like this where it's a 3D movable camera, you could zoom in, zoom out, get different camera angles, and have these high rendered 3D models and these silly little tilt animations. It could take away a lot of the the fantasy.
yeah. And I think the more realistic or the more immersive the map is, the more that becomes like the one truth of that map, right?
Mhm.
Um whereas, you know, let's go from the two extremes. Extreme on this end is I have a dry erase grid and I draw circles for trees and rocks and lines for walls and stuff like that. um, that leads to all kinds of imagination. Hey, on the battlefield, I grabbed one of these things as it was laying here. You get to like the animated maps, or you get to like a fully immersive, like 3D world. Um, I feel like most people are just going to accept that whatever is there, and then that's all there is. And I guess that just
Yeah,
depends
just
on the
like
kind of DM you are. But
removes the improv.
yeah, I think so. But that's
I don't,
more of a
yeah,
table concern than
yeah. That's more on the players and the DM style. Like just like our the Patreon maps you have, they're animated,
Mhm.
so they allow a lot of ambiance, they allow a lot of flair, especially for like the live streams. which helps a
Mhm.
lot. Yeah, like, oh, I is there a rock around? And then you're like, yeah, there's a rock around. So it's like easy peasy, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, the virtual tabletop quickly spirals into last episode discussion of how much prep is too much prep. Yeah,
Yeah.
'cause you could spend a whole week designing levels just
Oh,
before the
yeah.
campaign. Yeah, that's. But I mean, if you're really into that and you like designing levels and making maps, and then heck yeah, go for it.
Mhm. This is a question from Zeus. How much of the VTT's capabilities are intended for use by professional GMs who basically make one module and run it over and over again? Is this just outsourcing digital module creation to the fan base, which are then sold via their market? I think that if they market it that way for professional GMs, then they're sort of hamstringing themselves before it even comes out. It didn't. They weren't marketing it that way, and they made it seem that oh, everyone can make a map if they want to. So I guess it's gonna have to see like how much prefabricated set pieces are out there and how hard it is to make something. Because if there's if there's something out there, if you're like, hey, I need a map, just fucking go load up Dungeon Alchemist and draw a box and it makes a map for you and says, okay, you want a laboratory? Here you go, laboratory, print it. So I'm wondering how they're going to balance customization with ease of use.
I feel like they'll cater to ease of use because they want everyone to do this, right? They want it to be, or at least I think they should, yeah, make it so that anyone could do this if they wanted to.
It's very much in their interest
Um,
to get people onto their platform.
but even with the prefabricated scenes, that you can load up this prefab scene, like an inn, for example, but then you can move around the tables and the chairs and reposition things if you wanted to, or eliminate
Mhm.
a room or add a room. So I'm hoping they'll have that functionality. Or like, yeah, I like this preset, but I'm gonna add a little thing to make it in line of what want my players to experience.
I think it's just going to come down to like how many assets are available to play around with,
Yeah.
like how many individual pieces are available to play around with. Because just I mean, think about just D&D in general of how many things you could possibly want to put into a map and then extrapolate that for every kind of map that you can think of. Like, I don't
Yeah,
know.
I think they're gonna from the start they'll just have yeah, like I said, pre-rendered, prefabricated. So like you're not gonna have to decide what to put on tables, right? It's just a table with a candle or
Mhm.
or mugs, right? It's just that.
Yeah.
I don't think maybe eventually they'll get to that where it's like if you want to like be very meticulous on how things are positioned on a table,
Yeah.
like I want 3 mugs and then a candle and a haunch of meat, right? But
Mhm.
I don't think they'll do that in the beginning.
Yeah, that's something that I want to see in my hands as a dungeon master of like, okay, what do I have to do to make a playable map up to my standards and how easy is it for me to make?
But yeah, overall, I think it looks great.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to get my hands on it. That's for sure. So we'll see.
I do want to see like how are they running this app? Like what are your system requirements? Can you play through the
Mm,
phone? Can you play through the phone? Is this a desktop app? Like how are players going to interact with the virtual tabletop, and how much involvement will it
interesting.
take?
Yeah, because I mean, it would. That's a good question. It would benefit them if you could run it through a tablet.
Yeah.
If everyone could run it through a tablet and the DM can run the game for their tablet. I don't know
Yeah,
how you could extrapolate that whole interface to a touchscreen, but
yeah, because that's what most players do now. Even around the table, they have a tablet that has their character sheet on it,
mhm.
um, and that's how they access their books and whatnot. So, yeah, how do you articulate a click to move thing on a tablet?
I imagine it's gonna be a desktop first. I would
Mhm.
assume so. I feel like, especially with the ability to build and make stuff, there's so many moving parts into that.
Yeah, let's see. Let us poke around.
Mhm. Let me take a peek behind the curtain. But yeah, cautiously optimistic and would like to see more are my takeaways.
Yeah, I look forward, um, as things progress and move along with the virtual table, and then they release more news and gameplay and all that stuff. Yeah, so I am also hopeful.
Mhm. So yeah, well, we'll see. I think they said end of 2023, right?
Uh, yes, I think so.
So I mean, we'll see soon enough. Yeah, a handful of months or a little more.
Yeah, I mean, we still got a lot of year left, so.
Yeah, yeah,
But
we
yeah,
do.
playtest in late 2023 on D&D Beyond. So maybe it sounds like it's just a web app.
I don't. I don't know. I'm trying to think in my brain of what it would take to make all of that a web app. I mean, because even Forge is technically a web app, but it's hosted on servers. I mean, Foundry is technically a web app. It's hosted on a server. But then you're adding Unreal 5 and the 3D element to it. How do you do all that in a web app?
Um,
Do you have your own server? Do you have to host the game? Yeah, I don't know. It's
I I guess we'll see. We'll find out.
and that's I mean that's true, Chiba. Like if that's true, then all the assets are going to be server side. It's all going to be on Watsy's side.
Which is very expensive. Very, very expensive.
Yes, yes, it is. Because I can't tell you how many maps I used for campaign one, but it was I don't know over 50 maybe at least.
A ridiculous amount.
So yeah, I I didn't think about that. It's gotta be its own app. It can't be a web app. I don't know. Maybe I'm gonna eat those
It
words,
it
but
might be it might be both. It might be both. Like maybe app for DM side, like an executable app, and then web based for player side. But then
the
you would have
players
your
can
own
see the full
server?
3D map and all the like. How is that gonna
Yeah,
run?
I don't know. It's hard to say till they release
Yeah,
more news.
yeah. That's a good point. I'm gonna go looking for more answers that I can't find. Yeah, but anyway, I think that pretty much wraps it on D&D Direct.
Yeah, pretty solid direct. And yeah, looking forward to more news.
I hope they do this more often,
Yeah, I do too.
or at least every year.
Yeah, because this was a lot of meat, so maybe it could be like every quarter they have a direct.
Hmm. I don't know how often directs usually happen. Minimum, I guess, once a year.
It depends. Yeah, because I mean Nintendo does like 15-minute directs just for one IP, right? So they
Mm,
typically don't they'll have like a big direct where it's like a bunch of announcements, but then like for super high um high tiered IPs like Pokemon, for
mhm.
example, will have their own mini direct. They call them mini directs, so I'm sure D&D can do the same thing, especially for something like some like like I'm pretty sure they could do their own direct just for the VTT alone.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. 100%.
Questions for the host. What should I eat for dinner? Go get some pho, Zeus.
Good choice. Good choice. But yeah,
Uh,
anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. If you're listening in the podcast in the slight future. Um, but as we mentioned, next week, April 10th, we're talking about the D&D movie.
mhm.
So go watch it if you haven't, and we're gonna be super spoil heavy in that podcast. So definitely, if you want to watch it, go watch it, so we can talk about it. Other important dates: this Friday is our Out of Combat Live, where we will be talking about the entirety of the first campaign and answering any questions that you all have. And after this stream is over, I'm going to make a channel in our Discord where you can post all the questions you have for Out of Combat Live. So please post your
Yeah.
questions in there. And our link to our Discord is discord.gg/casters and cantrips if you're not a member there. And then if you haven't already, go subscribe to our YouTube.
Please, we're close.
Please. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, April 7th, Out of Combat Live. If you podcast listeners want to actually talk to us live, there you go.
Come hang out. Ask all your burning questions about the first campaign. Then, of course, April 21st, campaign 2, the launch. Very excited. So,
Lounge.
launch. But yeah, it'll be a new era, a new campaign. So, thanks for watching, everybody. And hope to see you later on. And I do believe Bun may be doing some character art tomorrow. She'll have to confirm that for us, but she usually does it on Tuesdays. So another stream for your viewing pleasure. But have a fantastic night, everybody, and we'll see you next time.
See ya.
Bye.